You see it. Full speed ahead. Let's go. 76ers lose their season-long 10th loss in a row for the Philadelphia 76ers as they drop this one 126-113 to the Milwaukee Bucks, ruining Adem Bona's career night. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365 and in a Sixers uniform. Rich Hoffman, Devon Givens, Bree with us. We'll check in with the guys from the arena. We'll get to our player of the game. We're going to do that one early because we already know. We already know who that is. We'll talk about Giannis and his career night with what he did. And Tank Watch, Tankathon, Daily Spin, and so much more as we hang out with you here on this Thursday night, April 3rd, where the Sixers put up a fight, and mainly because of one man and one man only, Adem Bona. We cannot call him Adem Bonus any longer because he was fantastic tonight for the Sixers.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think he single-handedly made this one more watchable than a lot of these games. And look, I mean, he just has the skill of playing hard at all times. And I think we saw one of the superstars whose skill is playing hard at all times, and that's Giannis, who's a guy who doesn't matter that it's kind of a nothing game in April on the road, a little bit of a dead crowd. He is going to give you 110%. He might take a few possessions off defensively, but that's what all superstars do. Adem Bona, in terms of just his activity level, has been excellent for a long time, man. And, you know, I think during this 10-game losing streak, I would say the first 5 or 6 games, that was the Justin Edwards show, and he was the rookie. He was the sort of no-name rookie coming into the season who really boosted his stock. I would say the last 3 or 4 games, it has been Adem Bona, who, I mean, has had good moments all season as well, but, I mean, what a game for him tonight, man. So he finishes, let's read that stat line out. He finishes 13 of 15. How's that for efficiency?
Oh, I need to adjust it then. I had Bree put down 13 of 14. He had that one last.
He must have missed in like the last second.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think 13 of 14 is fine. Yeah, 50, that last shot didn't actually matter at the end. I guess he was going for 30 there. For 28 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks, guarded Giannis the whole game. Didn't do it very well, but that was about more than him, I would say. That was a lot of team defensive miscues in transition and the Bucks screening with a smaller player to get Bona off of Giannis. But yeah, like, look, man, I think that kid has had a very good rookie year considering the low expectations we had for him coming into the year. And I would really like him to be the backup center next year.
See, you just ruined my question. That was going to be my question for you, but in a different way. We've talked about the 5th and 6th pick. Should the 76ers keep their pick outside of the top 4, but they keep the 5th and 6th. And we've talked about Queen and Milwaukee as the 2 options. Maybe if you want to go a little bit deeper in terms of some of those questions, maybe even in the second round. We talked about Kalkbrenner a little bit from Creighton, a little bit too. In the office, not necessarily on the show. We've mentioned Kalkbrenner's name, though, from Creighton on the show. My question was going to be this to you, Rich, and everybody out there. Have you seen enough from Adem Bona where even at 5'6", you still like some of the other wings and guards? You don't necessarily want to reach for Milwaukee or Queen at 5 or 6, really 6, not 5, but 6. Have you seen enough from Bona where he can be your primary 5 behind Joel Embiid, knowing you're going to probably spell Embiid with him in the games that he doesn't play, and have Bona be the guy going forward? Maybe you sign a center in the offseason, a veteran guy, just in case. Maybe you do draft one in the second round as another depth piece project, if you will, for the future. But have you seen enough for him to be that, where maybe even changes your thinking with those 2 big men high in the draft?
I don't think Bona would factor in too much to my decision if you had the the 5th or 6th pick and you were picking Malawak or Queen, I don't think he would factor in, but I do think he is a good reminder at the sort of high floor from the center position. There are a lot of decent centers there. You can get decent center play, again, backup center play. We don't want to raise his expectations too much, but he could be better than that at some point too. I'm not closing the book on the kid, but I think he has shown that he is an NBA rotation player. Well, you can get him midway through the second round, Devon. So that player, if you were going to pick somebody at 5, like especially a Malawak, you have to be convinced that that guy is going to be an absolute star.
Yeah,
is my point.
Because they have similar skill sets. It's just that one of them is 7 foot with a
he
enormous wingspan.
He has a higher upside, but the point is I feel fine with Bona just being the backup center next year as well. But I think the point is when you are drafting a center, like that guy better be a complete game changer because you can get good, competent center play from a lot of places. And frankly, you already have it in Bona. And, I have no idea what's going to happen with Joel. I mean, that could probably be a bigger factor in assessing the pick.
Right.
But, Bona, this is really good. I would say, so here's the first thing that I love because there was one play that you talked about. He threw down a huge dunk on a pick and roll, and it was a very nice pass from Jared Butler where you were like, he led him very nicely. He does have some good chemistry with Butler, but he also had some with Maxey before in terms of like knowing when to screen, knowing when to roll, and getting himself open on those screen rolls. I think that is going to be absolutely crucial for next year. And while Jared Butler is not going to be the guy who's throwing him those passes, hopefully you have 3 guys that you're going to be running pick and rolls with in Maxey, Grimes, McCain, re-sign Grimes, Daryl. And that's going to be key because I think next year you're going to have guards with similar skill sets, guys who are going to command a lot of attention, guys who can shoot the basketball off the dribble. Like, can you get them free? And then if the defense commits to them, can you roll to the rim and make the right play? I don't know if we've seen a ton from him in terms of like 4-on-3 type of passing if they do trap those guys. But as far as a lob threat, I think he does some pretty good stuff. I'm going to highlight one other play that we've seen because it was similar to the play. I think it was the game in Milwaukee a couple months ago that we have seen.
His first career start.
Yeah, that I love that he does. Let's say it's like once every 10 games. He does the old Joel move where he does yes, exactly. He runs the play action fake and then he drives in. Now in that game in Milwaukee, he completely tore down the rim, and I certainly enjoy when he did that. He did that tonight, but he finished through traffic. Like the help defense was there, and he finished. And I think that was one of the cool things about tonight's game where they weren't all easy dunks. Now there were, he finishes with 13 made field goals, so a few of them were easy dunks, right? On cuts and beating guys down the floor, beating Brook and Giannis down the floor. But there were probably like 5 or 6 finishes where they weren't that easy. And he got some N1s. He threw in a couple of hook shots. Don't think we saw a jumper from him tonight, but I think that's something that Kyle has said that, he does work on in practice at times. By the way, Adem, last 5 games, let's see some jumpers. Like
jumpers and threes.
Yeah, let's see a couple of them. He made 2 of his 3 free throws tonight. Anyway, great game from him. Defense was good at times. Obviously, the Sixers' overall defense wasn't good, but not the type of guy you would consider that would have the huge scoring game. Like I don't think I would have predicted Adem Bona 28 points. That's not like a guy that you give the ball to like Quentin Grimes and say, okay, you can just go cook for a little bit. He does need to be set up by his teammates a little bit. Yeah. Frankly, he is a willing passer. He is a guy that mainly wants to do the dirty work, but it just felt like he played really hard tonight and did well. And the ball kept finding him on one of those N1s that he got. It just felt like it was an offensive rebound and the ball just found his hands and he went up with it.
You said it. You were like, the ball just dropped right in his hands.
Well, I felt
he was in the right position.
And I felt like he was rewarded for his effort tonight, right? Yeah. Where that's not going to be the case on a lot of nights, but played really hard and really well tonight. And it's just too bad he didn't get to 30, right? Would have been, I'm not sure how many more times he's going to be up around that 28-point mark. So Would have been nice if they were able to get him over the top.
He might have an opportunity over the next few games, as you pointed out, because he's definitely playing 32-plus minutes in those games if he can help it with his play. I agree with you, man. Just to start off with that one play that Jared Butler made where a lot of times you see those guys, they'll throw it behind them or throw it right to their chest, right to their numbers while they're on the move. He led him, which allowed him to catch that ball, gather it, and just finish quickly right at the rim. And that's the beauty of it, too. We always talk about big men don't bring the ball down. But a lot of times when they bring the ball down, they're slow with their recovery and with their movement of what they want to do with it. They have an idea, but they still have defenders around them and how they can finish at the rim. While he does bring the ball down, he doesn't keep it high as you would like all big men. It's one of those things really, Rich, where it's real weird. They don't even teach it because none of them do it. Keep the ball high. Tim Duncan is the only one to do something like that in his career. And some of the old school big men that do it, they don't even teach it, guys, because they're always going to bring, it's instincts. You just bring the ball down. You can't help yourself. But his jump is so quick because he's so fast with that jump, man. It doesn't really matter. Earlier in the season, he's getting those basketballs swiped out of his hands because he does have it down there. He's not squeezing the pill tight enough for him to go up there and finish, even though he has, again, a really, really good grip on the basketball so it doesn't get knocked out. Now, we see it. Very rarely does he have the ball knocked away from him. No. He's in control of the basketball, making really good decisions, and finishing with the over the left shoulder jump hook on a regular basis now, where that's his offensive move outside of the fake dribble handoff and going and attacking the basket. That's his move. That's his finish. Over the left shoulder, we've also seen it over the right shoulder with the left hook close enough to the basket. He has shown a lot with a really, really, really good development, really good improvement all season long from this second-round pick that we liked. We liked the energy. We liked the rim-to-rim running. We liked all of that. We just weren't sure what the offensive game looks like. He's not going to give you 28, just like Rich said. He may not get that opportunity over the next 2 seasons. But what he did show you tonight is this is where you are rewarded when you have a game like this tonight where you see the hard work in a lost season from a second-round pick that is establishing himself as a rotational player, whether he's the primary backup and you have a third backup who can also be a situational backup whenever Joel is out based on their opponent. We are finding a guy here that Daryl Morey selected that is really, really good. And Daryl Morey did a great job. And it's more on the kid now to make sure that he goes out there and continues to work hard to find his role in the NBA, find his way on the floor, find the trust from his coaches, find his trust from the teammates while he is out there. I remember when we talked to him for the first time at not the introductory press conference, but at Summer League. Everybody was talking to Jared McCain. Bona came over, sat on the table behind the trainer's table behind them. And it's really different at Summer League, those types of practices, than it is in the NBA practice because, number one, guys are easily, you can get to them a little bit easier because of, the structure of what the gym looks like. So I just decided, let me go introduce myself to this guy, talk to him. Everybody says he's a really nice kid. Asked the PR about him a little bit. Great kid. You go over to him, and we just start talking. And he's just, man, I'm just happy to be here. The smile that you see on the floor,
infectious
that's
smile.
him. And it's infectious, as you talk about. And he was just like, look, I just want to keep working hard. I just want to make sure I show them that I can play and do everything that I need to do to get out there on the floor. That is in July. But even in July, in those Summer League games, while we saw some glimpses and we saw some things, we were squinting of what that player might look like. And now it's coming to fruition as a second-round pick of a rotational player now being built up in that body of what he has done. So, again, a lost season, but bright spot, Justin Edwards. Bright spot, Adem Bona. We already knew what McCain looked like before he went
early
down.
in the year, Jared McCain.
Exactly. So you see the 3 rookies, 2 of them draft picks, 1 of them is an undrafted player, where they have really, really panned out. So credit to them. If it makes you feel better about if they are able to keep the top 6 pick, maybe it's not as high as you want, 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, and you have to make a decision at 5 and 6. Morey's done a pretty good job of drafting players.
That's been his best.
That's been his best thing. So not to make this about Morey, but just pointing out they have them. They have all three of them because of him and the scouting department. And now we're seeing the whole thing play out here with Bona and how he has played, man, because he was not afraid of Giannis and Brook Lopez tonight. He had 12 points in the first quarter. I looked at the box score and said to Rich and Bree, wait a minute, they only have him down here for 2 blocks. I feel like he has 5 already. He ended up with 3 because he got a late one with under a minute to go. I swear to you all, it seemed like he had 5 blocks tonight just because of how he made them adjust their shots close to the rim, in the paint. He was everywhere. He didn't get in the foul trouble. He was in this. He had 5 fouls in the last game. Tonight he did have 5 fouls. I'm sorry. But it wasn't enough to keep him off the floor. And even in that 5 minutes when I said to you, Richard,
was guarding Giannis.
Is he done? Yeah, exactly. But is he done? And I was like, yeah, it looks like he might be done. But he didn't foul out. He just brought him back in and let him go out there and do his thing. He's playing Giannis. So if he did get in foul trouble, Giannis does that just like Joel does that. You get young players in foul trouble. They're eager. They want to get their hands in there. They want to contest everything, and they want to go after every shot block attempt that they can. He went out there, and his calling card too, get that bleep out of here.
Yeah.
Every time he blocks somebody's shot, and these are real dudes that he's blocking their shot, all-stars and starters, get that stuff out of here a lot.
My favorite play of the game, because, again, the Sixers did not get a ton of stops, and I don't really think that was Bona's fault. I think that was the Sixers being overmatched and Giannis just being excellent, all of those things. The Bucks ran a pick and roll, and Bona was guarding Brook Lopez. So he's kind of hanging out near the three-point line as the guard. I believe it was Ryan Rollins. He turns the corner. And Rollins turns the corner, and Bona is a good 4 or 5 feet behind him because he's worried about that Brook Lopez pick and pop. He sees that, I forget who the Sixers guard getting over the screen is not there on Ryan Rollins. Bona sprints and tracks that dude down and swats him at the rim. Rollins had no idea that Bona was coming. And then Bona eventually runs the floor and he gets a bucket on the other end. I think that was one possession after he stole the ball.
That was the two-handed dunk from Lonnie Walker, I believe it was.
I think so, yeah. So, again, like that's a great sequence, and obviously he has these flash plays. I think your point that he seems like a great kid is well taken. An infectious smile, and there's something to be said for that with him and Jared McCain where, we'll see what they are, right? They still have a lot to prove in their NBA careers, but to get 2 pretty talented kids who also seem like they're fun to be around, I think that's a pretty good start.
3.
Yes, with Justin Edwards as well.
You pointed out when they went on that little shopping spree of how Joel really likes Justin Edwards.
Yeah, and that was a part of the draft. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of the 2020 draft because that was Daryl's best draft where he took Tyrese at 21, took Isaiah Joe at, I forget the exact number, was that like the 40s maybe? Mm-hmm. And then he takes B-Ball Paul with the second to last pick in the draft. It wasn't even announced at that point. Nikola Jokic was famously announced during a Taco Bell commercial. Well, Paul Reed was announced. They didn't even announce it at all. They got 3 pretty good players and obviously a long-term, building block in Maxey. Now, is it Daryl's fault that he didn't keep Isaiah Joe around? Yes. But the draft itself was pretty good. So it seems like they have a pretty good foundation with that draft. One other thing to what you said, Jared Butler is a pretty good passer. Like he is, I'm not sure he's like a long-term keeper here, but he's in the pick and roll when he's working with the big man like Adem Bona who can get up for lobs a lot better. He's pretty good.
He is, man. One thing on that is early on, I remember his first game, and I said to all of you guys, man, he's really just, rejecting Joel when he gets around the screen. Joel's waiting for it in his normal pocket of catching it at the free throw line so he can do whatever he's going to do. Jared's like, nah, I got it. And we know he can score from the Washington game where he put up 26 on the Sixers. But after maybe 2 games, he has really started to settle in as a point guard. And that's what we've seen from Jared Butler, where he's settled in and just run the offense, pick his spots. And every time he rises up, while we're watching it and the game is too close, honestly, I'm like, don't make that shot.
He's making them.
But he's making them. And every time he rises up from three, I'm like, that's going down because he can score. What he's showing us now is the Baylor point guard that had him as a guy that had them in the Final Four and, of course, championship. And I wouldn't mind him back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind him back.
I think there's
because, again, you talked about what the depth is going to look like with those three guards. If they get another one, he's probably like the fifth guard.
Yeah.
So that's
there's
fine.
an NBA player in there.
I do too. I'm
not sure it's
Don't
with the
give
Sixers,
up on him.
but if it is.
You said that. You said he could have that TJ McConnell trajectory. While it's not here because TJ had success in his first stop, he went on to have a much, much bigger career with the Indiana Pacers, and Butler might be able to do that.
It is funny. I mean, you made a great point there that he's got a better connection with Bona and these journeyman players, and he's waving off Joe.
Get out.
First gets here.
Get out. All right, we're going to get out, too, and go to a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about and just show you the graphic of the play of the game. We know who it is. We'll talk about that. We'll give you the temperature check as well. Then we'll get into a few more things from the Tank Watch, Tankathon Spin tonight. We'll give you a few things, what's going on with PHLY that we would like to invite you to as well. So hang in there. We'll be right back talking about the Sixers losing their season-long 10th game in a row as they drop their 54th game of the season. They are 23-54. We'll give you an update on the Tank Watch and see where they stand with the Brooklyn Nets. Now 5 games remaining on the campaign. This is the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. And let's keep it to Bet365 right now. All right, folks, look, Quentin Grimes called that one perfectly because in the pregame parlay, he was at 23.5. I think he finished with 24 and 10 tonight. And we pointed it out that he's going to pad those stats at the end to get to that 24. He did that. What I didn't expect was 75 combined from Giannis with the points, rebounds, and assists. Shame on me. My bad. I lost that one. But if you made the bet, and you probably wanted to get better odds with Grimes still hitting that 23.5 while he sat on 11 and 13 for a long time, and maybe Giannis now going over that combined rebounds, points, and assists, Bet365 was the place for you to go, as we've been telling you for months. 90 million users worldwide, live streams of 708,000 events each year, and early payout offers across the NHL and the NBA. You got MLB back. Jump on in, dive into some baseball stuff there. And if you're a new customer, here's what you get. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Let me see. Win or lose. Did I do that pretty good? All right, cool.
I think so.
Sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit 10, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And Devon, now let's talk about our friends at Shady Rays. It's warming up in Philly, Devon. And I think today, when you're walking outside, sun peaked outside late afternoon, I would say today. Mm-hmm. And if you need that, if you're outside, I think you could use some Shady Rays sunglasses. And our friends at Shady Rays are helping you get in the right frame of mind with their premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. 300,000, man. And their sunglasses have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor activities. And with so many colors available, you'll find a pair that is perfect for you. And here's the best part. If your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by their lost or broken replacement program. And hey, if you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop at Shady Rays. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. So look, PHLY viewers and listeners, go to shadyrays.com and save 35% off polarized sunglasses with code PHLY. Over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars, so use code PHLY today at shadyrays.com.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365. Let's go to the Ace Hardware heating up, cooling off, the temperature check right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. And let me just tell you first before we get started that, of course, visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Can we go cross-sport real fast? Heating up. 2 players heating up. Let me get the numbers right. 1, highest paid tight end in the NFL now, Trey McBride.
I saw that. Cardinals guy.
4 years, $76 million. Okay. How does Geno Smith get $75 million of money of extension with the Raiders? I like Geno. He's been on my fantasy team for years as like my backup guy and all that. He can help you win 3-4 games throughout the year. $75 million on an extension for Geno Smith. 85. I think. Oh, so the 75 is guaranteed.
So yeah, 85, and it's 66. Guaranteed.
66 guaranteed. Those 2 guys heating up,
making a lot of money.
Making a lot of money. Specifically, the Geno one, the Trey McBride one, you can understand that. Also, kind of it spells the Dallas Goedert piece of things when you look at it too.
They need to keep Dallas Goedert.
Thank you.
You need to draft a guy this year and figure out that guy's good before you say goodbye to Dallas Goedert.
Even if he shows you in 1 year, okay, cool.
That's fine.
But you still need Dallas Goedert.
Come on.
66 guaranteed, 85 overall for Geno Smith. What is happening? Tom Brady. Pete Carroll. Well, Pete Carroll knows him, loves him, all that stuff, but he hasn't won you a championship and gotten you to the conference championship game.
He's good.
And that's a tough division.
He's good. I mean, it's quarterback money now, man.
I know.
You saw it with Darnold too.
Whew.
Right? Like if you are the 20th best quarterback in the league, and they're hipsters, football hipsters, I should say, who would argue that Geno's actually a little bit better than that. But if you're the 20th best quarterback in the league, right before the cutoff, before it starts to get bad, you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid. That's quarterback money. I mean, what did Justin Fields get? He got like 30 mil, something like that. That was a little. I mean, Geno's more established than him, though.
Yeah.
Better passer than him.
Yeah. So here's what he's gotten over the years. I wanted to look at his numbers as you talked about that, because with everything that he has done with his being a high draft pick, not panning out with the Jets, not panning out in other spots. He has 12 years, and it looks like now his career earnings with 4 teams is $67.4 million through 2025. And when you go from the Jets, Giants, Chargers, he made his rookie money, right? But once he got to the Seahawks, he made $60 million from the Seahawks, and now he gets an extension for this 85, 66 guaranteed. That's a nice turnaround, my friend.
He's a good story.
He is.
It usually does. Your career doesn't usually go that way. You don't usually get that bust label and then become a career backup and then be a pretty good starter. An average starter.
Yes.
Maybe slightly below average starter, but a more than serviceable starter. There are plenty of worse starting quarterbacks in the league than Geno Smith. So good for him.
Was it Chip Kelly? Chip Kelly at that time?
Is what?
When Jeffrey Lurie went to West Virginia so they can go to his pro day?
Well, Chip Kelly's the offensive coordinator of the Raiders now.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Wasn't it Chip Kelly when they went and looked at it back then? Was that Chip Kelly?
Might have been.
Yeah, might have been. I don't think it was Andy Reid. I think it was Chip Kelly.
Might have been his first year.
Yeah. So heating up, cooling off. Well, they're heating up. Trey McBride and specifically Geno Smith, they are heating up with their contracts. Great stuff by them. Great stuff by them in the offseason to get that kind of money. This has been the Ace Hardware Temperature Check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. All right, that's the heating up, cooling off segment. Real fast, let's just throw the player of the game. We know it's Adem Bona. Just to give you the numbers so you can see the visual, shot 87% from the floor. on 13 of 15 shooting for his 28.6 boards, 3 blocks. Don't forget about the 2 steals in there, folks. He also had 2 steals. Fantastic night. So we wanted to make sure that we showed the graphic because producer extraordinaire, Bree, puts those together, and we wanted to make sure we did that while we talk about some other things, transition to some other conversation. Overall, Adem Bona, the PHLY Sixers postgame show, player of the game, presented by
no one.
Thank you.
So, also heating up.
Who's heating up?
Giannis Antetokounmpo finishes, Devon, with, and I know this is hard because of your pregame parlay, 35 points, 20 assists.
Right there, he cleared the 49.5. Right there.
17 boards. And he needed to play the entire game because, guys, the Sixers were up. I think they were up 17 in the first quarter. So, again, the game was not that close late. The Bucks got it to, almost 20 by the end of the game. But it was not a game where the Bucks were up 1 million at halftime. I believe they were up 2 at halftime. So he needed to play the entire game. Look,
and that's why I didn't think he would cover the number. But go ahead.
No. So the Sixers used to have Joel Embiid guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I will say, when I was sitting behind the basket, man, Joel guarding that guy, like, he would play way off Giannis. He would let him, he'd say, go ahead, go shoot threes. I'm not letting you do your travel spin move, dunk on people move, because I am quick enough around the basket and also strong enough, because that's the thing about Giannis. His strength is just insane. To start as such a skinny kid and now just be absolutely jacked, but also be even stronger than that suggests. I don't know. Those 2 seconds when Giannis was about to drive to the basket and you knew he and Joel were head on for a collision. They were about to.
2 Rams.
It was great. That was so much fun. Anyway, tonight, instead of Joel, it was Colin Castleton protecting the rim. So hence Giannis's point total tonight and assist total. We talked about Bona got that matchup to start the game. They put Yabusele on Brook. I think that was the right call. The issue, Devon, is look, Bona can't guard Giannis, and that's not any slight against him. But honestly, a lot of Giannis's damage, and this is something that the Bucks have done a lot, but they've done specifically a lot with Doc Rivers, and something that the Sixers used to do with J.J. Redick and Ben Simmons. You get the really small player, the shooter, to set a screen for Giannis, and that will get Bona off Giannis's body and put, I don't know, Grimes. It was Jared Butler a lot in tonight's game. And so that's a disaster. That's either a dunk or you double, and then Giannis just pitches for a wide open 3. And look, the Bucks shoot
like 50%.
16 of 31. There is nothing that is more consistent than the Sixers getting blitzed from the 3-point line.
And folks, on the 5th made 3, Rich is like, there it is. It's happening again.
I think they were 8 of 11 to start the night. They just get blitzed from the 3-point line. Look, it's the worst combination, right? Because you have the Sixers defense, which is way too over-aggressive, and they go all out for steals and help, but they're also completely overmatched. And you have a guy in Giannis who can see over the top, and a bunch of decent shooters on that team as well. So that was a tough matchup. Anyway, that was a crazy stat line for Giannis, but as we talked about before the game, he puts up crazy stat lines a lot, and I feel like he just does not get the same credit for it anymore because the team is not as good. They were the 6th seed coming into the night, and that's just the way it is.
Add me to it, which is why I went 49.5 under. But that was more because I didn't think they would have to play as.
But you thought they were going to
as hard as as hard as they.
They needed
eventually they got to what was the biggest spread they had, 19, something like that. It was 18. They had an 18-point lead. The Sixers had a 17-point lead in the first half, and the Bucks chipped away at that really quickly by starting off with a 13-0 run in the 13-0 second quarter start with 3 points, make it 16 back to the AJ Green 3 at the end of the first quarter for a 16-0 sprint to cut that lead down to 4, I believe it was at that time. Then they eventually, even when the Sixers tried to cut into it, you saw some good things happening from Bona. Grimes making shots, Butler hitting his threes, Yabusele knocking down with some wing threes, big shots from Jalen Hood-Schifino at points where you're just like, all right. And then it happened. It got so bad. Nick Nurse had to get tossed tonight.
So yeah,
that's a temperature check right there.
There was.
right
there
there.
was. A lot of transition points for Giannis as well, especially with Castleton in the game. So you mentioned Nick Nurse getting tossed.
He got tossed. Sometimes, and I got my buddy Stacy, and she DM'd me during the game and was like, he wanted to get tossed.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just look at coaches in game and you're like, yeah, he's had enough. Rodney official was pretty hard there. He had enough. And I don't know what it really was that got him, but it got him.
So Kyle has a tweet out there, and he said, Nurse believes he got his second tech for saying, "Open your eyes," while an official walked by. I feel like it had to be worse than that.
He had to say something else leading into the open your eyes.
Open your eyes is pretty harmless.
It might be like, what the bleep did you see? Open your eyes. Right?
Open your eyes, I think, would be a pretty soft first tech.
That's all he remembered. That's all he remembered. Open your eyes, because he blacked out for a second.
He blacked out.
Right?
Well, he definitely blacked out. I did find it funny. One of his best moments of the year, honestly. As soon as he got teed up, just a nice quiet walk right through the tunnel.
Gone.
Yeah. Just
didn't argue it.
Turned around and was like, okay, yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Not even sure he told Brian Gates to start coaching. Just see you, Nick.
Just go. Yeah. Absolutely. So Nick Nurse gets tossed in this one. Probably wanted to, because he was ticked off at the officials, but we make a joke of he wanted to get knocked out of the game just because the game was out of hand. Just joking. But yeah, Nick Nurse gets tossed in this one. All right, we come back. We'll dive into some more stuff from this game. I have a Bucks question for Rich and you out there. We'll get to it when we get back. Sixers fall 126-113, their 10th consecutive loss with 5 games to go. And we'll give you a tank watch, a Tankathon spin, and an update on what's going on here at the PHLY network, and let you know how we can get you involved right here on the PHLY Sixers Postgame show presented by Bet365. And I got to tell you, we had a little scare there. I don't know what happened at one point with Lonnie Walker. Have we had an update on Lonnie Walker? We'll try to get an update on Lonnie Walker. Looked really, really scary where he was walking, not lifting up his foot, just kind of sliding. And it immediately made me think about when I had my Achilles tear playing basketball, where I didn't want to put too much pressure. I just wanted to kind of walk over to the seating and take a seat and just do that. So, not making light of it, but it just gave me flashbacks of my Achilles and my Achilles injury. And what I did was I went right to Rothman Orthopedics. I was with one of my best friends. He was like, what do you want to do? You know how sometimes you can be macho and be like, I'll just go home, put some ice on it, wrap it up. I'm like, yeah, we should probably go to Rothman. So he drove me to Rothman, and they practice in specialized care, and that has been their passion for over 50 years. Their mission, high quality, compassionate, and affordable care that's rooted in research leading to new treatments and better outcomes. If they look at my MRIs, they can use those as part of their treatment ongoing with their rooted research treatments, better outcomes, all the care, everything. They have it because of their Rothman Orthopedics, and they specialize in you and me. And I'm telling you, I was thinking about Lonnie Walker in that moment just because how he was walking and how they said it was non-contact. Well, year over year, Rothman consistently performs among the highest volume of hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle replacements in the country at over 60,000. And for more than 50 years, Rothman has participated in thousands of groundbreaking research and clinical trials with the goal of achieving and advancing knowledge, developing treatments, and improving outcomes for the benefit of their patients. Rothman Orthopedics, they specialize in orthopedics and you. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today.
Heel contusion for Lonnie. He's all right.
That's fine.
He's all right. But go to Rothman, Lonnie, and get that heel contusion all right. Okay,
good.
Now let's talk about our people at Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Guys, for the past 30 years, Golden Nugget Jewelers has operated out of the very same location in the heart of Philadelphia, 8th and Chestnut in downtown Philly. Guys, customers from across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, even Baltimore and New York City have come to Golden Nugget Jewelers to find that perfect engagement ring or wedding band. Golden Nugget, their staff, they're highly trained and dedicated to providing a personalized shopping experience for you. So, hey, if you're in the market for maybe an engagement ring or just any sort of jewelry, if you're treating yourself, Golden Nugget Jewelers, they can take care of you. They have a vast selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, along with high-end watches. fashion jewelry, and sparkling diamond necklaces, bracelet, earrings, and more. Receive a final clearing and written appraisal with every engagement ring purpose. And guys, Golden Nugget Jewelers, they are a family-owned and operated business, and they have been there at 8th and Chestnut since 1987. Guys, you deserve an expert and the best price, so go to Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Visit goldennuggetjewelry.com today to learn more.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Great news for Lonnie Walker because he had me scared on that one. Did not like how he hurt his foot.
You diagnosed it in real time, though. You saw once they showed the replay of him falling back near the people. You were like, I think that's okay. I don't know exactly what that is, but yeah, he gave you the scary Achilles walk.
Yeah, he did, man. And the reason why it bothered me is because, of course, him going to Lithuania, playing over there, coming back to the States, and trying to get his way back into the league. That's a whole year, man, where you would have to take off. So
he's good.
Guess what? He's not playing. He shouldn't play, at least, with something like that, with a heel contusion. It's a contusion. So with those contusions, man, we saw with the bone bruise that he had there for Paul George, those type of contusions sometimes, they can linger. So all kidding aside with the tanking, they can lose even with Lonnie Walker in the lineup. Probably makes sense for him, at least on Saturday against Minnesota, to not give it a go.
So speaking of that play, how about this for a transition? Speaking of that play and Minnesota, did you see Anthony Edwards fall into Jordi Fernandez tonight?
No.
Yeah, he turned his ankle. I think he's okay. I think he continued to play. But yeah, Jordi Fernandez is walking along the out of bounds area, and some people were like, "What's the coach doing there, walking all the way towards the end of the bench?" I don't know. I think the coach can walk anywhere they want.
The end of his bench?
Yeah, end of his bench. Yeah.
Okay, so like baseline a little bit.
Yeah, not even that far, But so Anthony Edwards kind of fell back into him, and there was a real scare. It kind of reminded me of the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where LD sticks out his leg.
I was watching it the other day,
and Shaq trips over him. Jordi Fernandez doing that stuff. What's your favorite Curb app, by the way?
Palestinian chicken.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
number one.
Yeah, easy. I was looking at the clip that you're talking about, so yeah, that's no problem right there. Jordi Fernandez didn't do anything wrong on that one. So yeah, Palestinian chicken. It's hilarious. Everybody go watch Curb. Oh, there it is. Bree. See, she's Bree.
Unbelievable.
Production excellence, as always, by Bree. Video right up there on the screen. Anthony Edwards should have done that a little bit earlier so the Nets could win.
It looked bad.
It did, but he's probably fine. By the way, I love those uniforms. The this City Edition Minnesota uniform.
Yeah.
They're like the winners every year. They kill it. They crush it. Outside of the Sixers blue spectrum, they crush it. But yeah. All right, let me ask you this Bucks question before the guys check in, and once they do, let me ask you this Bucks question. Let's say Dame comes back, because Doc Rivers talked about how they're feeling better about his prognosis and the possibility of him coming back, hopefully by the start of the playoffs. He's healthy enough to give it a go. Right now they're tied with Indiana for the 5th spot in the Eastern Conference, and that would be New York or who's the 4th? Can't remember.
Indy and Detroit.
Detroit, right. Yeah, so yes, they tied with Detroit, not Indiana. So with Kyle Kuzma as their 3rd now, what do you think? Because we talked about it before of both he and Jordan Poole being real contributors on championship teams. You go to Washington and it just zaps all of your energy, right? What do you think about
your basketball brain cells?
Yeah. Or basketball brain cells? What Social Assassin Boots says is a favorite Curb episode.
That's a great one.
That's a great one. What do you think? What do you think of their chances with him as a 3rd option? Do you feel like they have him sprinkled back in there with the basketball brain cells, or does he still have 50-50 Wizards Bucks?
I took a shot at him. I think it would have been unreasonable for him to lift this team to contender status. I'm very curious what they're going to do. It's funny.
Have no idea.
It's funny. You still were in between jobs when we started at the beginning, but they had just made the Dame trade, and I think we did a lot of podcasts surrounding okay, the Sixers are behind Milwaukee and Boston, and we probably overestimated Milwaukee because whether it was injury or just lack of talent around these guys, they didn't really click into an Eastern Conference contender. I know Giannis got hurt in the postseason last year. They weren't very good last year. So I think they're kind of screwed, man.
I don't see it with them.
I think they might be on the clock with Giannis at some point here because, again, I'm sure they'll get a couple of picks back, but they traded pretty much everything that they had left for Dame. So,
you know you're going to hear the New York stuff.
Sure.
Not Brooklyn, New York.
But they don't have enough.
Miami, you might hear some stuff.
Sure.
How long do you think?
I don't know. I just it's in the back. It's in the back of my mind. He you know, and he is. I don't want to like put that on Giannis because he really is. He's kind of like an ideal superstar in that he does not create a lot of drama. That said, in the offseason, he creates a little bit of drama.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. But during the season, he does not.
He goes back home and he has these camps and he's saying stuff. You know what I mean?
He sees the Greek kids and he wants to say, you know, this Bucks management's not good enough. Just like James Harden sees the Chinese kids and says Daryl Morey is a liar. Something about running a camp or a clinic in a foreign country. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that.
Brian Knight says Paul George for Giannis. Who says no?
Who says no? I don't know, Brian.
Sixers don't say no.
I think both teams have a meeting.
That's exactly right. Let's get to one super chat that we do have from Riaz, our good friend Riaz. What up, Riaz? Do you guys really see the Embiid situation as doom and gloom? That seems to be the consensus. I actually think he could be 80-90% of what he was, which is still pretty good. Embiid revenge tour 2026. Thank you, Riaz, with that big number.
Thank you, Riaz.
We said in the pregame, we talked about it a lot. And right now, honestly, we look at it and we did say earlier that let's see how it works. Let's see if it helps. A big part of it, Riaz, was the mental part of Embiid, to your point of 80-90%. If he accepts the fact that he is still much better than many, many bigs in the NBA at even 80, 85, 90%. Let's give him 93%. That if he accepts that fact, then I think that's a positive outcome for him and the basketball team. Because we've seen him. What did they think? What were it? 75% against the Knicks, 60% against the Knicks in the first round. And he did that stuff. So if he just accepts the fact, like he does in those moments of knowing that he's limited in those series, or limited when he has a mask, or limited when he has his fingers taped up because they're broken, but still goes out there and gives them the business, I understand. It's not all of them being the leg, but it was the leg against New York, and he gave them almost 50 in that game. He had another 30 in that series. He was a playmaker with Tyrese Maxey going off. So Riaz, if he accepts the fact that some of his superpowers are taken away from him, but he's still a superhero, then I believe that he could still impact the game in a big, big, big way. And they can still win games because Tyrese Maxey is Tyrese Maxey. Where Paul George fits into that, where Cooper Flagg fits into that.
Yeah.
You know, all those two guys, you know, Paul George, fourth option. That's a pretty good fourth option.
Yeah. So, Riaz, and that's the one thing I will not say. I will not say that he's automatically cooked. Maybe am I being a little hopeful here? You could say that, but I also we don't know. We don't know. Hopefully that knee gets a little bit better and there is some sort of middle ground. Hopefully there is no middle ground. Hopefully he comes back and he's dropping 30, 35 on people next year. What a story that would be. But yeah, Riaz, if he's 80%, 70%, as Devon was talking about there, that would also be a nice middle ground. So I would say I'm probably less doom and gloom than a lot of people, but I'm also realistic here as well in that we don't know, and this could be sort of the end of things, but who knows?
Yep, who knows? All right, let's get to a couple of things that we want to tell you what's going on here at PHLY, at the network. And let's start off with our draft lottery that's going to take place with all of you diehards. You got to be a diehard member for our draft lottery party here on May 12th. Rich, you're going to be here, right? All four of us will be here. All five of us will be here, right?
I'll be here May 12th.
Yeah, May 12th. Draft lottery party here at the PHLY studios. where you get to come hang out with us. There will be food. And right now, when you go on to allphly.com, you will get all the information that you need for the draft lottery party. Go to allphly.com, go to the events page, and you will see where you can join us and all of you 76ers diehards. The family can come together. The community can come together. Everybody bring their superstitious, your rabbit's foot, your old Sixers Sean Bradley jersey, whatever it is, bring it to the PHLY studio for the party that's going to happen with us. Diehard only event. So if you're not already a diehard member, please go sign up. And if I'm not mistaken, when I looked at our website, first year, $36 right now. Go take advantage of it. And then you can also purchase your diehard only ticket. We don't have a time as of yet because the NBA lottery, how they do it, it's normally around 7:30, something like that, because of the pregame. And they do they got to make it the TV theatrics and all the stuff that they do. So when they do that, it kind of drags on a little bit. So with it, it'll be a 2-hour thing where we all come together. We'll do a little show, like a 30-minute show of talking about maybe pre or post of happy, joy, or frustration because they got the 7th or 8th overall pick in this draft. I actually think they're going to be in the top 3. Bree spun the Tankathon wheel yesterday, got the number 1 overall pick. So I'm going with Bree on this one. Dan Taylor says, yes, Tony Wroten jerseys are welcome.
Absolutely.
He's not my guy, but he started the rebuild when he said those 2 words. Yes, Dan, yes, wear your Tony Wroten jersey. Come on in. He might be available to come in and hang out as a special guest on that night. So go to allphly. And if you haven't signed up, become a diehard member. And when you do sign up, you get a T-shirt as well. Yeah. We have good apparel, good merchandise here. So go ahead and do that. One more. Flyers. Flyers are also going to have a draft party.
They stink too.
They're on their Tankathon right now as well. Theirs will be right here at the office as well on May 5th or 6th for the draft lottery party. So all you hockey nuts, if you want to hang out with the team, make sure that you sign up to become a diehard member so you can get your hockey fix in and have the draft lottery party with Charlie and Bill and everybody going to be here that night, Bree? I think so. I think everybody will be here. Kelly will be here. Kel. Love Kel's energy, of course. If you watch the shows, you got to watch it in here, though. Like, during the game, she's the best. Come on and hang in for both of those draft lottery parties. May 5th or 6th, TBD time for the Flyers, and May 12th, also TBD for our show that night as well. All right, let's get to the Tank Watch. Do we have a final score yet?
We do.
All right, Tank Watch. Anthony Edwards.
Bree's already got it up.
Sixers' next opponent, Minnesota Timberwolves, knocked down Nick Claxton and the Brooklyn Nets.
The Nets are the opposite of the Sixers. The Sixers' defense is so bad. The Nets just can't score, man.
It cannot.
When
they win these games,
sometimes
like,
I look at these D'Angelo Russell box scores and I'm like, what is going on?
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He just wants to get his money at this point.
What
he
is
doesn't
going
care.
on?
I'm sorry. Sometimes you don't say that with a lot of guys. He doesn't care.
I hope he's got guaranteed money for next year. What is he doing? He's just like the opposite of Grimes right now.
He doesn't care, man.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tank Watch. 2 games remain separating the Nets and the Sixers. So
Nets kept pace.
I don't see the Sixers winning 2 more games.
No, I think this is safe.
They might win 1. They're not winning 2.
I think I'm feeling okay about
Feeling
this.
pretty good?
Feeling okay about this. It's the Pelicans. Can they catch them?
I don't think they can catch the Pelicans either.
Game and a half. Yeah, I think both of them.
Yeah, I just kind of accept it for what it is. And right now, when you look at the Nets and their schedule, just to give you this, Rich, real fast, we'll get to the guys a little bit later as well. Raptors next. Go Nets this time.
Go Nets.
Go Nets this time with the Raptors. It is in Toronto on Sunday. So Raptors, rest everybody.
Come on. Masai, you can do it.
You, Tuesday, April 8th, Pelicans. In Brooklyn. So, no, Toronto and Brooklyn, Sunday and Tuesday.
Okay.
Home games.
I feel like if they
Let me do it. Got to show the folks. Nona said use that for washing my car. Look at this, my old gear.
It's got the Brooklyn Nets t-shirt.
I got my old gear on. Look at that. Look at it, my old gear. Yes.
Yes.
The old Nike gear.
Well, if they get one more win, I think
I want to show everybody everything.
I think you're good.
All right. Go ahead.
Sounds like the Eagles show.
Bo
telling Zach to show a little nip,
Look, we all have them.
We all have them.
Just as the Seinfeld show says, we all have them. Yeah, so
what were we talking about?
That's their
the Nets.
schedule. That's their schedule. Raptors,
I feel like if they win one,
Pelicans, Hawks, all three at home, and Minnesota, New York, final. Minnesota at Minnesota, New York, April 13th at home. So they have 4 home games.
I feel like if
they can win one of those.
If they get one of them, the Sixers aren't catching them.
Yeah.
4
home games.
They're not catching the Sixers. We got a couple more super chats here.
What do we have?
We got Skunk saying, sorry, Riaz. And I guess I would also be included with Riaz here. Embiid is cooked like Church's chicken cooked. Time to find life after Joel. Thank you as always, Skunk.
Church's chicken cooked. Like it.
And then DJ, a.k.a. Mr. Sandman.
Bring me a dream, number 1 overall pick.
When Philly gets a WNBA team, what should their name be?
What was the
Where
name?
are they in the queue for a WNBA team right now?
I don't think they're too far. Of course, it was talked about when the whole
because Cleveland just got one, right?
arena thing was going on. It was being discussed, so Cleveland got one.
Golden State actually has one now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what we always come up with the Bells. We always say that because that was the old team's name.
Wasn't it the Rage?
The Rage
Wasn't
also.
that the Dawn Staley team?
Yeah, that was the Dawn Staley squad. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They'll figure it out.
We'll have time, though. Dan Taylor says the Bells. Let's just go with the Bells. Bring it back. Bring back the Bells. Cool logo, right? All that stuff. Once the arena starts groundbreaking there, then I'm sure we'll get something. I'm sure we'll get a name and see where things go from there. Absolutely. Got the stadium deal done? You said the Rage? Is the Rage in there?
Well, the Rage was the ABL team.
That was the ABL Dawn Staley squad. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Does the Rage just Philadelphia an angry place, I guess?
I guess.
I don't really know.
The fans, we got problems. We need help.
That's not a great name.
It's not a great name at all. I would prefer the Bells if I had to choose between the two. I absolutely will do that one. All right, let's get to the daily Tankathon spin here for the night, Bree. We're going to go. Bree wants to just do one and done.
Okay.
So she's done. She did hers. Kyle will do it on lottery night. Rob says the Soldiers WNBA game. Kind of like the Bells. Love you, Rob.
We can argue about this.
We
3 years.
We'll have time
until it happens.
Nona says no, not the Bells. All right.
No, we don't need to start.
We'll do it later. We'll do it later. Thank you. We'll do it. Let's get to the daily Tankathon spin here on this Thursday night after their 10th loss in a row. They're still, where are they? Fifth spot?
Fifth spot.
Two behind or two in front.
Two in front
of the Brooklyn Nets.
And 1.5 behind the Pelicans.
1.5. Let's go Pelicans. I got to check their schedule as you go ahead and do that. What do we have?
All right, here we go. Oh, this is a new one. The 4th pick in the draft. So
where are you going? Or do I have to go first?
Why don't you do it? Yeah.
I'm going with VJ Edgecombe. And I don't really think too much about it at that point. I just go with the wing. He's not a point guard. He's not a shooting guard. He's a wing. Even though he's 6'4", he's a wing. And I'm going with the upside. Number one, the athleticism, the commitment that he has as a two-way player with the defensive chops that he already has. I think all of that stuff can improve. And when we talk about a player like Adem Bona, Justin Edwards, and even Jared McCain, he seems like one of those guys that just simply wants to get better. He goes out there and he plays the right way. We always heard it. Play the right way from Brett Brown and all that. VJ Edgecombe plays the right way. And if you have concerns with his outside shooting, the one thing that we always talk about with young players like that, because they're so good, they're so athletic, they can get to the rim and finish, and their jump shot is behind. By the way, Thanks for hanging out here on the TV side. We're going to overtime at allphly.com. Everything with his mechanics, to me, Rich, looks perfect. He just has to continue to get the reps up. And that's it. I'm going VJ Edgecombe. Where are you going?
Well,
at 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big question is with Edgecombe. I think I would do it too. So the thing with Edgecombe is, can he make shots off the dribble? Because that's a big part of it. Mm-hmm. And he played on a Baylor team where he had to play with a lot of, like, he played with Robert Wright. There were other guys. He didn't have the ball in his hands all the time. So I still need to get a better feel for that. What can he do off the bounce? Because, like, the way that a player of that size turns into a superstar is they can shoot off the dribble, right? They can run the pick and roll, and they can shoot. And if he can make shots off the bounce, that's part of the reason that Quentin Grimes has flourished down the stretch here, because then that opens up your driving lanes. I think he's a terrific athlete. You're right. I think his shot looked pretty good.
It looks really good.
Off the catch.
Yes, it looks really good.
Does it translate?
So my thing is, at least for me, and by the way, X-Man, our good buddy X. What up, X? X says Edgecombe is Chris Dunn. He'll pass.
Well, I would pass if he's Chris Dunn too.
Yeah, if he is.
Yeah.
The athleticism is way better.
Yeah.
Athleticism. The defensive stuff. Chris Dunn was coming into the league, and you were like, yep, that translates right away.
Yeah,
it's the shot.
But people thought more of Chris Dunn.
I was.
At that point.
I was.
Because he was, he played for Ed Cooley at Providence.
And what did he play? 2 years? Did he play 2 or 3?
2 or 3, yeah. He was not a one-and-doner, though. Yeah, and people
that's
thought
the thing here. VJ is.
He was he was a point guard. He was kind of somebody you could run offense through.
Yeah.
Pretty much was out of the league and has reinvented himself as this great defensive player. Should be on an all-defense team. Have you seen a lot of the all-defense players are getting completely screwed by this 65-game limit? Because you have to play, I think it's 20 minutes per game.
That's ridiculous.
In 65 games. Well, all defensive players, a lot of them are not good offensive players. So, they might be taken off the court at different times. So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Chris Dunn is an example of that too, where, if one night he plays 18 minutes because Ty Lue needs to get Norm Powell and, maybe Derek Jones has it going that night. Yeah, so he's not going to make it.
What do you think of that comparison? One is a point guard, one is a shooting guard. Coming out of school, at least.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chris Dunn
and Edgecombe.
That was certainly how they were used. Chris Dunn, I remember Ed Cooley, he got mad at me because I asked, I was like, is this like do you ever say like I forget what my exact question was, but I was like, he has like a big burden, right? And Ed Cooley got real mad. He's like, this is not a burden. This is an opportunity. I was just like, yeah, man, he just has the ball in his hands a lot. Like, you could frame it any way you wanted to. But anyway, like, VJ Edgecombe was not used like that. Chris Dunn was doing everything for Providence at that point.
Wright is a really good point guard.
Yeah.
So, isn't he a local kid? I know he went to...
Newman Grady.
Yeah. Wright's really good. I'm happy for him. Hopefully it all pans out and works out for him. Done Providence 4 years, says Boots. So, we're talking about 1 year as a guy. So
that's different, right?
That is very different.
I like the younger player.
Very different. And you take a chance. You take a swing at something like that. But, yeah, I go with him at 4. Rich picks number 4 on this one. We'll get another daily spin on Saturday when we're back with you for the Timberwolves and the Sixers. But the guys are extremely busy, right, Bree, at the arena? So let's get ready to say goodnight.
Let's say goodnight.
We're off on Friday. We're back on Saturday. It's roll call time right here on the post-game show. We got to start off, by the way, and say thank you to Mr. Sandman, Skunk, Riaz, and who was the fourth one, Bree, that we had as a super chat? Oh, just those 3.
Oh, we had Bernard earlier.
Bernard, absolutely. Thank you, Bernard. We appreciate it in the pregame show. Thank you so much. Well, let's get ready to say thank you to Yams and I Gavini. What up, y'all? Chi, Kyle Wright. We had Nona in the chat as well. I see Mom is in there.
Hi, Mom.
Saying great show, guys, and Bree. Thank you, Mommy. Just say Mommy,
that's fine.
Even though I don't say that to her, just call her Mom. Purple Heart. What up, Purple Heart? And we are going to pause our roll call.
Oh, wow.
We've never done that.
Our first paused roll call. So no offense to Mom and everybody else, you're not getting a second shout out, right?
No, you're done.
Igavini, all you guys.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it.
You got it.
So
now,
just take that to heart.
yes, we love you. Now let's
Purple
go
heart.
back to the arena and check in with the guys. Kyle Neubeck joining us here live from the arena after the Sixers, Kyle, dropped their 10th in a row, but tonight.
Did I pop in overtime as you guys are doing the roll call? I
Overtime
did not
roll
realize
call.
it was so dang late. I thought I knew Adem was, a little slow getting over to the podium, but I didn't know it was this late. So my apologies, fellas. I would have let you keep rolling with that roll call if I had known. No, my bad. What's
Sorry,
up?
you can do the
Time
roll
flies
call.
when you're having fun.
You can do the roll call with us on the way out. We'll just wrap it up that way.
All righty.
Yeah, so Bona, late podium night for him because he had a career night. He was fantastic, man. He really was. Made this game, as you said, watchable.
Fellas, we've been talking quite a bit about him recently, I feel like, and sometimes it's just been, maybe he scores 10, 12 points, but the activity's there, the shot blocking's there and whatnot. But that's a career best game by far, right? Like a career high before tonight was 16. I thought he should have easily gotten 30. He was sitting on 28 for basically the entire fourth quarter, but you see a little bit of everything, right? The activity, the shot blocking, the improvement as a ball handler, hit a baby hook in the paint. He's defending Giannis, and Giannis has like an unprecedented individual performance tonight with the stat line. But I think he did as good of a job in solo coverage as he probably could have hoped for. And Giannis's performance is, one, mostly about Giannis, but two, just about the complete lack of help they had to deal with him otherwise. So, yeah, I think the deeper we get into this season, the more reps he gets, the more experience he has, you just see more and more things out of Mr. Bona. So he's having quite a finish to the season here with 5 games left.
Kyle, did he say anything interesting at the podium after he took a while? Because he is somebody who, he seems like a good interview. He seems like a kid that is just having a lot of fun out there, frankly, and is enjoying his opportunity. So has he said either something tonight about his big game or really just his progression in general? Because I'm sure when he started this season, he did not think he was going to be scoring 28 points in a game. And frankly, they probably should have got him 30 as well.
I don't think he would have thought he was scoring 28 points in a game even 2 days ago, right? Especially against, this is at least a decent team in the Bucks, despite not having Dame Lillard. So his message also dovetails with what Quentin Grimes, who also came to the podium tonight, talked to us about, which is he is still trying to come with the same approach every single day, in spite of the fact that this season is, for all intents and purposes, over, except for where they finish in the lottery standings. And I think something that's pretty remarkable to me about all these guys that we end up talking to is the guys who are left playing, who are just losing game after game after game, right? They're 27 in their last 31 games now, and have lost 10 straight games. And yet still, it seems like they are pretty upbeat, right? They're coming in, they're working hard every day. Tonight was competitive for a good chunk of that game, right? Milwaukee only pulls away in the fourth quarter. And I think Adem has just been a very consistent guy. So he's attacking the film study. We hear a lot about that. He's attacking his, shooting reps, improving at the free throw line, working on his touch and whatnot around the rim. But even stuff as basic as, improving his catching of the ball, right? So when he gets an entry pass or he's on the roll, he's moving, he's not fumbling those passes. It's a lot more natural. It's a lot more fluid. And so we hear that from Nick Nurse. We hear that from Adem. And then tonight obviously was a unique situation, unique challenge where he's the leading scorer of the team. And, oh yeah, you got to go defend Giannis. And as he was wrapping up his press conference, he said to us, right before I came in here, I was talking with someone saying, I thought I did a pretty good job on Giannis, right? I put together a lot of good possessions and it had some moments you feel good about. And then you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, oh, wow. So it's he has a nice positive demeanor. It's very refreshing, certainly at the end of this season where we have just been dripping with negativity and pessimism, and like even Tyrese Maxey, who we have referred to many times as the human ray of sunshine, got trapped in that. So Adem, got to keep that positivity, brother, because very few of us have it at this point.
He was really into that matchup.
He was.
And Giannis had 30, 20, and 17. Again, it wasn't really his fault. They were screening guys off.
But the funny thing about it, Kyle, is we were looking at it. Number one, the way he was looking at Giannis when he did something, or he got an and one on he or Brook Lopez, and he's yelling. And we've talked about it, and you guys are even better because you're right there and you can hear it when he's yelling, "Get that bleep out of here!" to whomever he blocks those shots. You can just hear it, man. And I was telling Rich and Bree and everybody in the chat about how when we were at Summer League and we were in there and everybody's talking to Jared McCain, and I'm sure you remember when I kind of snuck over to Adem Bona behind everybody, I was talking to him, but just how infectious his smile is, as you just talked about, having a smile on his face all the time, being upbeat about everything, and just wanting to play and get better and show them that he belonged.
Yeah, we're in overtime, so we can say this now, Devon. I don't know that there's anybody in the league right now who likes saying "give me that shit" more than Adem Bona does when he blocks a shot, right? Like it is instant, it is loud, and yeah, to your point, Devon, I rarely, if ever, see, even if he has a foul called against him, even if something doesn't go his way, it's a like laughing or smiling frustration, right? It's like he's running in the other direction away from the ref, like, "Oh, like I can't believe you called that on me." But it's never, he's not dressing anybody down. He's not getting angry, and he's still constantly communicating. He's constantly trying to, move the pieces around, which that'll be the big thing for him as a young big, right? Is you have to get to the organizer level. Right now he's a playmaker, and maybe it's not the guy who's moving the pieces around the chessboard, getting everybody in place, but that's something he has time to work on, to improve on. And I think with as boisterous as he is, that's something that should come naturally as he gets these reps and feels more comfortable as a leader.
How comfortable has he made you feel about him being the primary backup five next year?
Oh, I mean, I said this to you both the other day, I believe. Like, I just think it's hard for me to believe that someone who plays as hard as he is and does won't make it as at least a rotation big in this league, right? Like, I just think the big thing for me, I always thought he would get there as a defender once things slow down and he makes his reads faster, and he's just so athletic and is a willing defender. The amount of progress he's made offensively is just so huge for him, right? Because if he was a passable defender, but you can't throw him a pass on a pick and roll, or he can't execute dribble handoffs, or you can just ice him out of the game with free throws or whatever, he's made small to moderate sized improvements in basically every area as an offensive player in the span of one season. And that's for a guy that we weren't expecting to play almost at all this year. So I think one of the few good things that's come out of this season is they may have developed a guy who, he's not going to be a finished product. He's going to have games next year where he's in constant foul trouble and he's too aggressive or whatever the problem is. But I do think that I have a reasonable amount of confidence that he can be a long-term backup center at least. And then you see kind of what happens from there.
All right, man. That'll do it for us. By the way, the Nets lost, so no ground made, no ground lost. 2 games back with 5 left to play. Minnesota in town on Saturday. So, of course, you guys will be there at the arena. Rich, myself, and Bree will be here at the studio. Do you want to participate here in roll call? You want to sit around for the roll call?
Mean, I don't know. I can say
you don't
hello
have to yell out
people.
anything. I'll just
like
yell.
Riaz and Money Mar and
There you
Jess
go.
and Mr. Sandman and my girl Winona.
There
I
you
know.
go.
By the way, Jess was hanging out in the Discord tonight despite being at the game. And thank you, Jess, for the compliment on my attire tonight. I dressed like a civilized person instead of wearing, hoodies and whatnot, as is typical for most of the season. But yeah, I'll let you take it away on the rest of the roll call.
All right. Well, everybody, make sure you go read the recap at allphly.com. Good, bad, the ugly from this one. A lot of good in this one, even though there was the 10th loss. Kyle, thanks so much, man. We'll see you on Saturday for Timberwolves and Sixers. Get home safely. We'll talk to you then.
You too, fellas.
All right. Appreciate it. Let's unpause.
Unpause it.
Unpause the roll call.
Restart it.
But we don't have to say the same names over.
No.
Money Mar, what up? We see Money Mar in there. Dan Taylor, Boots. What up, Boots? Who else do we have in here? We had Nona. Well, we said Nona, so we gave Nona a double shot there.
Nona gets 2 today.
Nona gets 2. We had Davon, aka Schoolboy Beats. We said Dan, Jack Reacher. I love the movie. Love both of them. Make a third one. Tom, while you're still rolling, make a third one. Jack Reacher. Shannon, good to see you in there. Yams, Hinky. This is his time. This is his time right now. John Peace. I don't even think I saw Peace, but Peace.
Yeah, that's fine.
What up, Peace?
What up,
X-Men. What up, X? Good to see you as always. Brandon, Remo K, Seth F. What's the F stand for, Seth? Never mind. It's late night. Sixers After Dark. D. Walt, Stacy Smith, Vic, A. Ron. What up, Aaron? Neil Deaver. What up, Neil? And who else do we have? Prophet One. Vince. We saw Vince Pellegrini in there.
As always.
He's going to have everybody all set for the draft party, the lottery party. Sir Shmooey, Wawa Marvel, and all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for this late night. The game was what the game was. We got a career Bona night. It was fun. We got a fantastic performance from Giannis, even though it didn't even look like he tried that hard to get that. But make sure you go like and subscribe, please. And when you do, hit the like button because you know it gives the hand clap and shows the work from producer extraordinaire Bree. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you hit the bell icon because when you do, you'll know it is showtime. We're off tomorrow, back Saturday. 7 o'clock game?
I believe 7 o'clock.
I think it's 7 o'clock game. So we'll be back with you at 6:30 on Saturday for Anthony Edwards. Julius Randle will drive me crazy watching him for 48 minutes. And the Philadelphia 76ers will be back for that one. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy the weather. 6:30 pregame on Saturday for the Timberwolves. We'll talk to you then. Thank you, Bree, as always. Thanks, Kyle Derrick from the arena. Rich, always fun. We'll see you on Saturday. Good night, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.